All right, drum roll, please.
18th of the 2nd, 11:05 p.m. I'm sitting alone in a windowsill large enough for two, watching the wake of the ship crash and break in marvelous shades of blue, so close I could reach out and scrape off the foam of the waves, white against a sky darker than the expanse of the sea. Yet the ship quakes beneath me, large creaks and cracks, the thunder to the lightning striking in the sky beyond me. I know how you love storms, like you know how sudden sounds frighten me. Once all I needed was the ocean to hold me and guide me, but here in its embrace, the only thing I'm longing for is you. 19th of the 2nd, 10:22 a.m. Can I still have a good morning if you haven't wished me to, with my view of the sea and the peppering rain, curled under towels and wax pillows, the best I can mimic your blankets over my shoulders, grasping for your presence despite my insistence that you're not here, out of arm's reach but stuck in my mind, how you'd enjoy the French toast and lazy massages, your hand grazing mine as we survey the expanses. I'd pull you to the edge, hanging over the banister, and you'd hold me close so I don't tumble over. As it turns out, I just want you beside me forever. 19th of the 2nd, 12:53 p.m. A ship full of dreams, and the only thing I long for is you. 19th of the 2nd, 4:48 p.m. I duck into the warmth of the hot tub, eyes cast up to the sky, one hand tossed up, saving my drink from the raging pulses of the water. My vodka and lime can shut my eyes and turn the world on low, but it isn't sure how to hold me like you can. I wonder what you're up to, and if you're worrying for me in that frantic way you do. Worry in your lips and crease between your eyes. You soothe your hair back for me and tuck yourself in. I'm sorry I'm not there. I'm sorry. 19th of the 2nd, 9:51 p.m. There is a loudness and a buzzing. My feet rumble on every metal groan. Where is your safety, your quiet, my home? 19th of the 2nd, 10:30 p.m. Good night to you in the light of the moon. I never did prefer sleeping without you. Arms around your middle, a chin on your shoulder, ways in which to convey I love you even from an ocean away. This is the mantra I repeat. Good night, and I love you until I fall asleep. Only now, instead of home, I'm shivering and alone, watching mist spray the window, melancholy in my bones. 19th of the 2nd, 10:38 p.m. Good night. 19th of the 2nd, 10:39 p.m. I love you.
Okay. In Greek, pan means all, and demos means people. Pandemic meaning all people. Does a pandemic of panic cause pandemonium? Demon, all demons, a place of all demons, otherwise known as your local supermarket. Heaven is a place where the aisles are full of pasta, sanitizer, and the new white gold, toilet paper. We've made time for self-care, reading, writing, memeing, and more virally than the virus, making TikToks. For that, we are grateful. COVID caused advancements in WhatsApp conspiracies and meme culture. From coffin dancing pallbearers to Netflix not asking if you're still watching, everyone's binging The Tiger King. For that, we are grateful. Our human rights to others are luxuries, safe in our homes with full fridges where others are behind barbed wire walls, quarantined by bullets. Consequence isn't a fine or warning. Their sentence starts with an ending. Call migrants uncivilized, yet you swamp supermarkets like ogres, all fighting over toilet paper to take out the title of top hoarder. Criticizing migrants fleeing war zones who search for safety through sandbag trenches can't be told to go back to where we came from by the same people who bask in rays of stolen land and colonized countries. Swimming in the shores of the Shire, sunbaking on the sandbanks of Bondi, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. peak hour photo shoots, it's golden hour on the Bay Run. Privilege can't protect you from what you can't see. The elite facing the reality of their mortality, something foreign struck fear in their minds, speaks a language they don't recognize, can't diagnose with cash eyes until it's too late. Reminiscent of underground movements and revolutions, and isn't this bittersweet turn of the decade? For that, we are thankful.
All right. Okay, let me spotlight you.
Well, okay, thank you. So this one, like I said, is probably the first spoken word piece I ever wrote. And it's called Cost Reward. chewed up, spat out, kicked to the side of the road, no one to see if I'm okay. I'm as I've always been, alone as I stand here lost in the emotionless of my emotions, my ribs ripped wide open, my heart beats outside my chest. I can see it, a red mess, feel its irregular beat closing in around me, crushing my temples, causing my body to tense, making it so very hard to breathe. I'm nothing more than a passenger on this planet, a speck of dust in the universe in which we all exist, being sucked in a vacuum, spinning. My control is out of my control, held by everyone but me, pulled left and right through thick and thin, sold to the highest bidder who never, ever pays. The only one paying is me. So what of it? You do all right, they say. You'll be all right, they say. But how the hell would they know when all they do is take, but never seek to know what's crawling beneath my skin, when scars are admired as battles won, but never recognized for the hurt and pain they represent? When they always talk and tell, yet never ask, never seek to try to understand, to know me. Yet there I always am, at their beck and call, dropping everything to help them, to make sure they are okay, even if I'm not, to make sure they have what they need, even if it means I don't. It's all I've ever known, whether I like it or not. It's all I've ever been, whether it's convenient or not. Sanity is my cost. Self-sacrifice is my reward. Thank you.
So you might recognize me as that guy sitting in the corner with the hat and the sort of try-hard sneakers, ordering a triple shot espresso. That's me. I'm that white guy who, when his Aboriginal friends call him brother, gets a little thrill, even though it's usually only until they eventually remember his name, because even I admit all bald middle-aged white guys do look kind of exactly the same. I'm that white guy who mentions he has Aboriginal friends to sound impressive, who drops into conversation casually words like yarning and mob and deadly, and feels entitled to call his other white friends bras and cuz and sis without realising what a tosser he is. I'm that white guy who interrupts his Indigenous colleague to explain to her how white people need to just shut up and get out of the way, who supports a treaty and land rights and changing the date, but would never actually give up his house or even a day's pay in solidarity with First Nation sovereignty. I'm that white guy, that awesomely woke white guy, self-appointed spokes guy who uses this precious time on the Zoom to wallow in ironic self-deprecation as a strategy to win your admiration, who secretly hope that someone's recording this right now and will post it on social media tonight so that it goes viral. Hashtag I'm that white guy, which will start a global movement with he as its founder, spawning book deals and a spot on the Q&A panel and t-shirts and posters adorned with his face stylized to look like a cross between Obama and Gandhi. And that lead singer, what's his name, from REM, I'm that white guy who turns a poem about racial oppression and injustice into a poem about himself. I am your white savior. I am the one that we've all been waiting for. I am that white guy. Thank you.
Part 1. This body is a flesh sack, holding my organs and my bones in a carrying case so that I can present it to the world for all your judgment. My body is femininity in all its empowering ways, but also a fetish. Philippine melanin imprinted on my skin, my mother Lola Lolo's heavy days in the Pacific sun, my body is a vessel of history, of family, of culture, of colonialism. My body is the imperialist dream, white-skinned European heaven. This is not what my ancestors signed up for. My body is my culture, risen up from the sea like volcanoes and brought down by monsoon, yet it stays. Part 2. My body is a flesh sack, a decaying corpse. Each day I live, skin denigrating, sinking into my bones. My body is a casket, waiting to be lowered. Chestnut paneling and blue velvet lining, I am a beautiful casket. My body is a crash test dummy, blank and unfeeling all the ways a crash test dummy can be. Ragdoll in the night, to be tossed and turned the curbside a falsified sanctuary, far, but not too far away, from the traffic lights that turn amber, red, then green. A moment that could be as quick as a millisecond or as agonizing as centuries, but I'm okay. Because crash test dummies don't feel pain.
On a bit of a more sour note, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to go downhill. This next one is called I Don't Believe in Love. I don't believe in love. I believe in pretty ribbon lace tying together mortgages and staying together for the kids. I believe in temporary butterflies and going in blind. I believe in ships leaving docks and sailing back with wreckage from the sea. No one sees damage of a wave until you're sinking. I believe in crushes until they leave me crushed. I believe in drunken lust and wearing protection. I believe in fuck buddies and using Tinder for attention. I believe in something that caresses my face but scratches on the way down, every scar reminding me of the ways that I wasn't enough. I once believed in wearing sunglasses indoors to block out all the red flags. Once believed that it's worth the seesaw between us that never seemed to be leveled, but then again, that's not what a seesaw is designed for, is it? I believe that you can climb to new heights to the top of a tree, but no one lives at the top of a tree. They come down to survive. I don't believe in forevers. I don't believe that one can bury a whole life to birth anew with another. I don't believe that any two can sew their imperfections to mend problems and wear a sweater of commitment together. I don't believe that something is so good that it's worth the tears that have stained the aroma of this room. And no incense can ward off a demon dressed as an angel. I believe that love is a myth, a word of mouth phenomenon. See, myths can be disproven by the ones that refuse to see them. If I can't see it, it can't hurt me. If I disbelieve in it, my boundaries will rise from my toes and ward off its intentions. If I can help it, love shall stay within fiction until it proves to me that it's worth believing in.
Sex is fun, but that's not why we do it. It's only fairly recently that evolution grew it, and most creatures on Earth don't have sex at all. They just split in half and then off they crawl. Then homosexuality was the first revolution. There was only one gender for most of evolution. Now we have genders, but not just two. Most species have dozens. Yes, it's true. Then we have those whose gender bends. They switch back and forth. It never ends. Fish boys become girls, become women, become men, in a cycle repeating again and again. And even when our gender stays fixed, things can get a little mixed. XO, XX, XXX, XXXX, XXXXX. That's just the female sex. And if you think that's absurd, the whole thing's reversed when it comes to birds. I'm an XY, but a boy bird is ZZ. So much diversity, and we're not finished yet. Sea sponges can have sex or do it alone. Yes, on a whim, they can mate or clone. Of course, when they have sex, there's no penetration. They just squirt it all out there and hope for fertilization. Those sea sponges have orgies to an unheard of degree. Remember that when you swim in the sea. Even creatures that penetrate usually have no fun. Just to survive is the main rule of thumb. Male spiders get eaten unless they're clever. Most animals do it once. Most bees do it never. Birds orgasm in the blink of an eye. Antechinus do it and crawl off to die. Sex is dangerous. You get dead a lot. So why didn't life just say, I would rather not? Well, sex in all its forms has evolved to help us fight off the common cold, or really the more deadly types of viruses, bacteria, and even parasites. We shuffle the deck when we combine our gametes. It's infection by germs, which sex evolved to defeat. Sure, we love sex now and we think it's great, but it started to help us recombinate. All that mess and ingenuity just to help each species hang around in perpetuity. Now, while drawing morals straight from evolution would be pretty dumb, so is quoting Genesis like some God-given rule of thumb. Like some people say, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, but we know that's just rubbish. First, all sex was same sex, and didn't life flourish? Often at a wedding, you'll hear that God gave marriage. Well, I tend to think that's another bit of Genesis-inspired baggage. Evolution tells us that it certainly took a while, and it's not like Western monogamy is the only human style. Sure, sex is great for a stable society. which is the very thing Jesus threatened. He died a man of notoriety. Yet my wife and I subscribe to it using contraception. Most of the time we had 2 conceptions, a lovely little kid and then another one arrived. The planet's overcrowded, but you know, I'm glad that they survived. Sex to have them was a highlight bar none, but we're not having any others and it's still great fun. It was even more fun after I got the snip. Thank God I'm not a Catholic, I'm a Protestant. Now I've forgotten the last bit. I agree that sex is great for a married woman and a man. The problem is when people say that nobody else can, because any ethic which ignores the fact that we've evolved is an ethic which will keep many problems still unsolved. Love God, love your neighbour, do for you as you'd have done. Jesus' simple little rules make sex both fair and fun. Because sex is spiritual, mystical, emotional, relational, luminous, numinous, even educational. The Bible had a point when it said it makes us one, even if it started to avoid those pathogens. So the poem's over, but if you want a closer look at the science and theology, then get my other book.